come join us. Come join our movement and find the path to heaven, which is actually just Texas. We're actually just in Texas. Give up everything and everyone that you've ever known and let this one guy sleep with all the women in town, because that's actually a really important part of this for some reason. Now, I don't want to make anyone mad, but today I want to talk about something that's been bothering me recently. Listen, I'm always going to dunk on Christians because I'm traumatized, and I'm always going to dunk on TikTok because I'm bitter. So when I managed to find the sweet combination where these two Venn diagrams became a circle, I had to jump on it. All right, it was ripe for exploit. That was a joke, kind of. Because here's the thing, outside of Terry Joe, Christian TikTok kind of scares me. And now before you call me the Antichrist, I just want to make some disclaimers right off the top. This video is less about Christianity and more about specifically Christian TikTok and the occult, which might seem like a little bit of a reach, but like, I don't feel that way. And I feel like everyone gets what I'm saying when I'm making the differentiation between Christian TikTok and like Christianity. As per usual, I've been watching too many Netflix documentaries, and very specifically ones that have to do with Christian cults. And they give me the heebie-jeebies, all right? Because I feel like there's something kind of insidious about the way that I see TikTok feeding Christianity to people that's giving the same energy as some of these docs. Like, I'm sorry, but it's giving cult recruitment. There's just something about the TikTok version of everything that makes it worse. And it stands out to me particularly because you never got this energy on Christian YouTube, all right? There's a distinction to be made there as well. Like, do y'all remember MMA Jenkins? Do y'all remember her with her morning routine with Jesus? Like, it doesn't matter how you feel about Christianity, the vibes in that video were absolutely impeccable. Her happiness in the video was so palpable, which I know is new for most of us here on this website who haven't felt joy in about a decade. Christian YouTube gave us like Christianity Light, and Christian TikTok is giving us Christianity Reloaded. Something about the way complex issues like this are discussed on TikTok seems to make everything almost purposefully inflammatory for the point of engagement, getting a reaction out of people. And I have my suspicions that a lot of Christian talk, God talk, is engaging in the same work. I fell down a rabbit hole of cult recruitment, Christian TikToks, and just started picking up on some common themes. From the alpha male podcasters to the pick-me's to the trad wives. It feels like everyone is mostly just fighting to see which one of their ideologies is strong enough to separate you from everybody else. Because everyone apparently is so willing to die on every single hill that they land on now. That being said, the TikTok that actually sent me down this rabbit hole was one that looked like a knockoff Road to El Dorado, which as we all know was everybody's sexual awakening. Miguel, Tulio, and Chell made everyone feel something new. Okay, so first of all, why is it animated? Why is it a cartoon? And not even a good one. And that's part of the reason why I get so much cult recruitment energy off of this, because who is this for? TikTok is full of so much kids, and then you have this Christian cult recruitment video that's made to be a cartoon. It feels like it's trying to target children. And why couldn't the animation have been better, all right? Is heaven bad CGI? Is it the city of gold, but in like 720p? When you open the doors of heaven, is it just a bad knockoff of a Disney movie from like the early 2000s? According to this TikTok, yes. It's also super interesting to me and kind of almost catches me off guard when there's relatively young people with these ideas. Because I feel like when I was growing up, the face of this type of rhetoric seemed to usually be older. It was usually faces with a little more lines, a little more gray hair. Now the face of it is excessively big smiles and piercing red eyes. We can't talk about TikTok without talking about that kid on TikTok with the big red eyes all the time. He always made TikToks right before he was about to cry or just after he was done. I'm not sure at what point in the bawling this TikTok was made, but it was somewhere in the midst of a hard cry. Like, what's the process, do you think, for this person? You wake up, you get out of bed, you put in your weird eye drops that for some reason makes your eye way redder. You sit in front of your camera, zoom in way too close, go on Spotify, find the End of the World playlist, and start. Like, if heaven is about to be filled with scary TikTokers, I'm not sure that I want to be there. Like, am I gonna go to heaven and be there with, like, this guy, Big Nick, and Whoa Vicky? That doesn't sound great. You know what else stood out to me that I found really, really interesting? As someone who spent way too many of my formative years on YouTube, to a point that I'm pretty sure it's like halted my development of really important parts of my brain and personality that I can never form now, I couldn't help but notice that Christian TikTok preachers talk with the same cadence as family vloggers. They all have that like adult influencer who's making content for kids voice. And you know exactly the voice that I'm talking about. Like, listen to this guy specifically walk us through his deployment.
Okay, so at the very beginning of this deployment, we were given a list of things that we were required to bring. And this list, it consisted of things that we needed to survive. And so as I'm packing all the things that I need from this list, I began to notice that there's very little room for the things that I wanted to bring. I began to remove the things that I needed from this list to make room for the things that I wanted. I'm talking, I removed my helmet to bring camera gear.
Like, why is this stuff always so dumbed down? Who is this for? Like, are you talking to kids? A toddler? Like, it's going so out of its way to be PC that it almost feels like wartime propaganda. Maybe it is. We'll just say this video is recruiting in more than one way. It goes so out of its way to make things that are kind of complex as simple and dumbed down as possible, but to a point that seems kind of insidious. Like, are we all uniquely created, or will this one set of rules manage to fit everybody's lifestyle? It can't be both. Like, this video is trying to ignore what is the most basic aspect of the human existence. Different people in different situations are gonna require different things. Like, yeah, dude, if I was being sent on an underwater mission to find the lost city of Atlantis with Milo, then yeah, dude, I'll probably need like swimsuit, scuba gear, and like my Switch. If I was sent on a mission to, let's say, a Catholic church for a day, I just need Chris Hansen. Is the intention of these TikToks really to educate, or is it to recruit and to discourage finding nuance in a very obviously nuanced situation? This is like the TikTok version of when a school will post the only Black student on all of their social media to make it seem diverse. But I know these tricks, all right? I spent 4 years dodging that campus photographer, all right? You can't fool me. There's some pretty prominent voices on Christian talk that I think might just be prominent voices in the Christian space overall. But oftentimes, TikToks will boil down their sermons to some quick and easy digestible pieces. And one that caught my eye was by Pastor Mike Todd, discussing the idea of dating not being in the Bible.
Dating, the word is not in the Bible. Like, that word's not in the Bible. But the concept of what we call dating is honestly practicing divorce.
Listen, I don't know if it's one of my 17 neurodivergences, but I could not hear this and not immediately start picking it apart. I would like to take this moment as a period of reflection. Let's time travel a little and reflect on what life was like for women in biblical times. In ye old before Christ, or while Christ. What do we call the years that Christ existed? I'm gonna call it WC, all right? While Christ. Now, you don't really need the Bible for this part because I think you know what I'm trying to get at. This was a period in history where women, or girls, were sold to their husbands by their dad with their virginity as the currency usually. So, speeding on back to modern day, how exactly would dating work in a time like this where women didn't have a single right? In a period of time where women were more or less bartered like cattle, how could the concept of dating exist in the Bible? The entire concept of dating is having a choice in your partner. Women didn't particularly have that. Actually, I heard that women got their first right when the Bible ended. When the very last line was written and it got closed up, we're done, we've written all we're gonna write, that's when women got their first right. Source? Trust me, bro. Like, there's absolutely no way that this argument can stand without paying attention or acknowledging the context of the time. Like, dude, the issue here is not dating. It's rights. Women's rights.
We really didn't know what we were doing, but we were led by the Holy Spirit, and we were leading a young adult and youth ministry. And so we started this thing called intentional dating. What we decided to do is let's take the word dating and what you think that concept is, but let's put the word intentional in front of it. And what we want to do is make a process where it's not commitment yet, but you have a season of getting to know each other where there's on-ramps and off-ramps.
Did he not just describe
dating? That's also one of my favorite parts about this whole Christian TikTok thing, is when they take a very well established existing idea and just refeed it to you in the Christianized language. Like, he literally just described a talking phase. So quiet down, kids, listen, shh. All right, so dating is not in the Bible, so we're not going to encourage that. But what we're going to do instead is have seasons where people can talk to each other and get to know each other on and off to test their compatibility. But we're
not dating?
So what was the point of this video and what is the wrap up? I think that most of us are only about 2 or 3 TikToks away from joining a cult. And that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Me and the sirens outside are grateful that you watched. If you have any strong feelings about anything I've said here today, please let me know. I hope I didn't offend anybody. That wasn't completely my intention, but it's never not my intention either. And I will see you in the next one.